Ever feel stuck in your career or business and you're not sure whether you need a mentor, a sponsor, or a coach to help you move forward? If so, you're not alone. Each one of these roles serves a totally different purpose, and knowing which one you need and when can save you years of trial and error. In this video, I'm going to break down the difference between all three and help you decide which is the right next step for you. If you're new here, hi, my name is Corrie Logaitis, otherwise known as Corrie Low. I'm a professional keynote speaker, high performance coach, author of the upcoming book, The Five Overwhelm Culprits, and someone who's been in all three of these types of people at different points of my career. I have been mentored, I have been sponsored, and I have been coached. Each relationship ultimately shaped my growth in a different way. But knowing which kind of support to seek at each stage is what accelerated everything. Let's find out which one you need the most right now. So, the first option is the mentor. A mentor is very much a guidance based experience. Think of a mentor as someone who's already been where it is that you're going. They give you perspective, they provide advice and feedback, and it's all based off their lived experience. Mentorship is usually unpaid. It's often very informal. It's not a structured experience. And more than not, it's often long term. A mentor is ultimately going to help you see what's possible as well as avoid common mistakes. So I could say in my own career, I've been mentored in so many different ways. First and foremost, in my corporate career, I was mentored by my father. I was third generation running our family's business. So he taught me everything. But then when I pivoted and switched careers, I needed to find mentors that were in new industries that I was looking to go into. So I've had mentors in the coaching and training industry. I've had mentors in the speaking industry. I've had mentors now becoming an author. So it was very, very important for me each phase of my career to be able to anchor in with somebody who was multiple steps ahead of me in that industry, in that role, whatever it was I was working towards, that could more or less model for me and show where I needed to navigate and could help me avoid mistakes that they had from lived experience. I was able to avoid it because I had their mentorship. So mentors help you see what's possible and avoid those mistakes. It's the biggest benefit of working with them. So ultimately, think about it this way. Mentors provide wisdom. You need a mentor when you're in any one of these scenarios. Maybe you're in a growth phase. Possibly you're navigating a new role, or maybe you just need someone to normalize your challenges, to feel like what you're going through is normal and to be expected. That could be very validating at times. All right. So the second option is the sponsor. So sponsors provide advocacy for you when you are not in the room. Sponsors are very, very different. They don't just advise you, they advocate for you. Those sponsors are typically senior leaders who have influence and use that influence to open doors for you. They'll mention your name in rooms that you're not in. They recommend you for stretch opportunities, and they ultimately push your visibility for you. So the best way to think of this is a sponsor equals access. You're going to need a sponsor when you're ready to advance to a new promotion, create more visibility for you, or open doors to new leadership opportunities. All right. And the last option is the coach. So coaches provide you with strategy as well as accountability for change. Now, a coach is very different than both the mentor as well as the sponsor. A coach doesn't tell you what to do. A coach helps you clarify what it is that you want, helps you identify what's blocking you, and ultimately helps you create a plan to get there. Unlike mentors or sponsors, coaching is very structured, it's time-bound, and it's focused on measurable outcomes. So you look for a coach when you're seeking transformation. You need a coach when you are stuck in patterns, when you're overwhelmed, or when you know what you want, but you just can't seem to execute consistently. If this sounds like you, working with a coach is going to be far more transformational than working with a mentor or a sponsor, because coaches are action focused, where mentors and sponsors serve very different purposes. Now, there's a special kind of magic that happens when you have access to all three of these types of people. Your mentor helps you learn from experience, right? Your sponsor helps you advance through visibility and opening doors for you. And your coach helps you take consistent action towards your goals. And remember too, different seasons require different kinds of support. And knowing which types of support to activate is ultimately what's going to accelerate your growth long term. Now, before we move on, I want to be clear on one important point. These roles aren't always neat little checkboxes. Sometimes one person can span more than one of them. So for example, in my own work, because I do work as a coach, I often mentor, coach, and consult, depending on what a client needs most in that moment. And yes, it's okay to pay for mentorship. I think there's this big misconception that mentors should always be like somebody you could find for free. And sometimes that's great. But if you're similar to me, if you're going into a brand new industry and you work for yourself and you don't necessarily have access to people within your own organization to mentor you, sometimes paying for mentorship makes the most sense. So when I personally was getting into the publishing industry and I decided that I wanted to write a book proposal and to sell a book, I invested in an author mentor. It was worth every single penny because I wasn't paying for time. I was paying to shorten the learning curve. And there was so many things that you don't know what you don't know. There were things that I had done in my initial draft book proposal that were all things I put together via a online course that I had taken, but weren't things that were done in day-to-day process for today's publishing industry. There were things in my proposal that were giant red flags that I was a newbie, that my author mentor, who had 9 books under her belt, was able to help me identify in my proposal and ultimately land me a literary agent. So I wasn't paying for her time. I was paying to shorten my learning curve and to help me level up what I needed to know so that I could enter the industry efficiently. And also too, the point isn't to label every relationship. It's to understand what role that person plays for you right now and whether you have the right mix of guidance, advocacy, and accountability that you need to be able to move forward and hit your goals. So as you look at your support circle, ask yourself, not just who fits each one of these roles, but if there's any overlap or opportunity to deepen those relationships. All right, so it's time to take inventory. Who is on your team right now? Take a look at your current support circle and ask yourself, who's guiding me with experience? Who's advocating for me when I'm not in the room? And who's helping me execute and keep me accountable? If one or any of these roles is missing, that's likely where your growth opportunity is hiding. So I'd love to know, which one do you realize that you need the most right now? Is it a mentor? Is it a sponsor? Is it a coach? Go ahead, drop it in the comments, send me a DM. I'm most active on LinkedIn. I would love to hear what season you're currently in. And if you realize the missing piece for you is a coach, someone who could help you get clear, confident, and consistent in your goals, or perhaps a mentor, somebody who has already started a coaching business, a speaking business, is doing the type of work that you'd love to do, I'd love to support you. Coaching and mentorship is where we turn that insight into action. You can learn more about my private coaching and mentorship options at the link below in the show notes. So I truly hope that you found what I shared in today's video helpful. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know. I would love to create a follow-up video to go ahead and answer all those for you. And I look forward to seeing you on the next episode. I will see you next time. Have a good one. Thanks for checking out The Next Step with Corrie Lowe. If this episode resonated with you, share it with a friend, subscribe, and leave a review. Together, we'll transform overwhelm into action, and we'll keep taking the next step towards confident leadership. See you next time.